Welcome. Welcome to another segment, another chapter, another series of the Love and Respect Experience. The author of the book I read from is Dr. Emerson Eggerichs. Today we're on chapter 27. Everything been going so far. For me, mediocre. You know what I mean? I continue to wake, continuing to pull it bad, continuing to try to move away from the negativity, especially, the negativity I can physically see, touch, that move around me in my environment. Social media, look, they say you should never have a point to prove, right? Life is a point. Your legacy is a point to make. So when I say those things, on my other accounts, to these rappers, to these up-and-coming rappers, to these digital creators, because they came at me. And it don't make it right. Because we done discussed that on the Faith Ministries channel, right? Reading through the spiritual reading of Revelations, right? An eye for an eye don't make it right? That's why I said sometimes I'm knocking on hell's door. You feel me? Any who like, share, comment, go to my YouTube channel, Only Faith Ministries, and subscribe. The title 27, which should be another part of forgiveness. This is chapter 27. It's part 2. Forgiveness, part 2. Got forgiveness? Let Jesus be your model. See, Sarah and Emerson, said a model. You know what I mean? I say the blueprint. Basically the same thing. It's something that you can read about. Someone you can get an understanding about how you treat people. First and foremost, how you treat yourself. We as human beings, we as gods and goddesses, we're to, walk in kindness. In kindness. We're to try to move away from all the evil that's around us, that's presented to us. We're supposed to, pray. We're supposed to try not to take nothing into our own hands. Whom we pray to, whom we believe in, whom we have our faith in, we are supposed to rely on that spiritual being, that creator of all, to handle our tribulations. You get me? To handle it all, to give it to the creator, to give it to whom I pray. The name I pray to is Amen. Give it to Amen to know I need your help. There's some stuff that I can't do on my own. And that's how I pray. I've learned through the walks in my life, and I really learned this in an NA meeting, is that, the things you cannot change, you give that to whom you pray to. And the things you can change, you change it. And sometimes, you think you can change things. So I've learned to give all my tribulations to whom I pray to. Not just something, not one thing. All of it. It don't matter if I can go in here, figure out how to turn the hot water on and make it hotter. I'm not saying I prayed for that before. You understand me? But just to give you an example, something that minor, You got what I'm saying? The turn of a knob. You feel me? I will pray to whom I pray to make sure that go right. But let's go and get into chapter 27. The verse comes from 1 Peter chapter 2, verse 21. Christ suffered for you. He is your example, and you must follow in his steps. You feel me? Now we may not know whether the creator, whether Amen is a woman or a man. So I had to stop saying Father. There's nowhere that there's an image. There's nowhere that stamps the creator is a man. I feel the creator is a morphodite. Because we have two genders. We have women, we have men. To make both, you have to understand both, right? You have to have a divine, emotional connection. Because we both emotional, both genders get emotional. So to make us different, but to make us so much alike, you have to know both, right? Anywho, we know it's foretold, it's seen, it's written. Jesus was a man that walked this earth. Jesus was put here by the Creator to bring peace, to walk this earth in respect, dignity, and cherish life. So please think. Please pray. Please know that whom you pray to love you, care about you, protects you, guides you, strengthens you. Anywho, let's get into the chapter. And the chapter started off in chapter 26. We looked at some basics on forgiveness. We must forgive or our fellowship with the Lord will be broken. And we must continue to forgive over and over again. Marriage takes two good forgivers, but there is more to it than that. A question I hear continually is, exactly how do I forgive when he hurts, when the hurts go deep, when I am still smarting from no love or no respect? The Apostle Peter gives us a good place to start in today's key verse. Make Jesus your example and follow in his steps. We get the same idea from the writer of Hebrews, who tells us to put aside what can trip us up and run the race marked out for us by fixing our eyes on Jesus, who endured the cross for us. If anyone was hurt deeply, it was Jesus. I see him doing two things to forgive, and they are things we can do too as we follow in his steps. One is sympathize with your spouse. Try to understand what is causing the hurtful behavior. Two, relinquish the offense to God. Let it go. Don't let resentment fester in your soul. See the things that I was already working on before I even got married is understanding the woman I'm with. Figuring out what is it about me that piss her off? What is it about me I'm not doing that can show you love? What am I doing that does not make you secure? So those things that the wife that was and whom I was dating before we got married, I'm not gonna say complained about, but spoke up about. I went and I tried to fix those things about me. You got me? And some of the stuff I didn't agree with. Some of it I felt that I was hearing it from a spoiled child in a woman's body, in a woman's mind. And I still worked on it because knowing how it feels to her, made all the sense in the world to me. To tell me that, like prime example, to tell me that, let me know where you're going. It hurt my feelings that you over here talking to this woman. But to make my home right, cause really it's a stranger, not family, not my kids' moms. Yes, I can do that. I can just say hi and keep it moving. I don't have to engage in a conversation. I don't have to sit there 5-10 minutes chatting about nothing, because it makes her insecure. It makes her feel like I'm getting ready to step out on her and cheat on her. So when you know these things and people, your spouse, your woman friend, your man friend that you're dating, explain things to you, try to understand it. At least try to work on it. It could be some BS. You understand what I'm saying? But give a care about the person. Your emotions and their emotions are trapped in. Trapped, yeah, I'm gonna use that word, trapped in. You got me? Trapped in. Yeah, trapped in love, trapped in their heart, trapped in their mind. Try to work on it. You know what I'm saying? At least put an effort up. Like I said, it could be some BS, but one thing can't be said that you didn't try, that you didn't understand, that you didn't care. People say a lot of stuff about people. People lie. You got what I'm saying? And that, what most people don't feel and what most people not getting, to shut your mouth up means that their lie became a truth. Don't let nobody lie on you. You got me? And don't you lie on anyone. Tell the truth. Sympathizing with your spouse may not be the first thing on your mind if you are the one who has been offended. But consider how Jesus responded to horrible mistreatment with patient forgiveness as he prayed from the cross. Father, forgive them, for they not know what they are doing. Jesus forgave the Jewish mob and the Roman soldiers by looking beyond their heinous crime to see the ignorance, mindless fear, and blind hatred that was driving them. Hatred. You got me? Hate. See, Jesus rode in on a donkey as the Messiah, as it was foretold before Jesus was born. It was spread across the world that a messenger will come, sent straight from heaven, from whom we pray. And when it happened, Jesus' own people, his own faith, religion, couldn't believe it so bad that it built hate in them. That is true, that it has come. Why? Because, see, the Romans gave the Jews dominion where they could do whatever, say whatever, as long as they keep the Jews in line. The Romans didn't have to deal with the Jews. You feel me? If there's something going wrong in the Jewish community that the Romans hear about, because the Romans govern the land, they will go to the priests, and the priests will go to the leaders in the Jewish community. Or the Romans will go to the leaders of the Jewish community, and the leaders of the Jewish community will go to the priests, and the priests will talk to the citizens in the Jewish community. You feel me? Do you get it? That make more sense to you? They had so much power, so much influence, that to see this man, this Messiah, come through and fulfill the scriptures, they was like, man, this man get ready to take everything from us. We're going to be sitting out here as peasants instead of sitting back chilling, loving life. You feel me? So what they did, what these Jewish priests did is that they became bigger than whom they prayed to in man's reality. So for what they did to Jesus, crucified Jesus on the cross, where do you think these Jewish priests are at? Because see, that Roman that stood on what the Jewish priests sentenced Jesus to, he only followed how their judicial system was set up. He didn't put a sentence on Jesus. The Jewish priests put a sentence on Jesus. He had to follow through it. You got me? To keep order in the land, he had to follow through it. You understand me? But those Jewish priests in hell, burnt, waiting to get more people in hell with them because they lonely. Probably praying, probably hoping somebody can deliver some water down there because they're dying of thirst. Although the slights and offenses suffered in marriage are trifling by comparison, you can follow Jesus' example and principle when your spouse offends you deliberately or unknowingly in any number of mundane ways to seem to be part of marriage. How? By trying to understand what might be causing the impatience, rudeness, or lack of consideration. Perhaps bad habits learned while growing up have surfaced. Maybe the cause is stress from work or from dealing with the kids' problems. Or maybe it is fear of what one of you might think or say. The list can go on and on, but trying to identify the problem is only a start. You can't stop there. You need to talk about what was been happening. Express your hurt, but do it civilly and tactfully. Perhaps you simply need to let someone know your elbow is getting seriously pinched. That was back in chapter 23. You remember that? You remember us talking about that? Or it could be time to speak a difficult truth with love and respect. In all such conversations, you know you can follow the example of Jesus because you are married to a person who has basic goodwill and does not intend to hurt you. As you sort out your feelings together, remember that you cannot expect success if you come to the negotiating table gently. Guess that's it. To get somewhere, there must be a forgiving spirit present. Obviously, in the one who feels wrong, but also in the one who has done the offending and may be feeling defensive or have reasons to feel offended also. Truth be told, you both may have some forgiving to do before it is over. And do not neglect to relinquish the offense. Give your pain and frustration to God. Refuse to hang on to remnants of an unforgiving spirit. Yes, I know the hurt may still linger, but trust God to help you let it all go. When Jesus suffered, he kept entrusting himself to him who judges righteously. And you can do the same in the midst of lesser difficulties. Now peep this. Jesus trusts in who judged righteously. That Roman that governed the sentence of Jesus felt he was righteous. So what I got out that movie, The Passion of the Christ, the Romans never liked the Jews anyway. You could tell how quickly they was trying to get things over. You could tell the fear in the Jews had for the Romans. You understand what I'm saying? You get it? The fear. They were scared of the Romans. They used the Romans to get something done, but they have fear of the Romans. And the Romans didn't give two cares about the Jews. They taxed the Jews to live on their own land. You feel me? They taxed. They wasn't slaves, but they taxed the Jews to live on their own land. Come on now. Come on. Come on now. I know y'all might be sitting there saying to yourself, what the who? Damn? Isn't that what this American government do also? Yeah. Yeah. So what you think? Well, what do you really think is wrong? Let me put my right hand up. I would testify to saying, yeah, taxing land to me is wrong. You got what I'm saying? There's things about this government I don't like, but there's things about this government I pride America on. You feel me? I never said the American government is 100% thorough. I stand with the decision, the laws of the American government 100%. I have enough understanding to know, okay, y'all do give a care about us. I have enough understanding to know the day that you try to overthrow the American government or you're speaking negatively and starting starting a coalition against this government, then the government coming to get you. They're gonna make your life real hard. You feel me? And see, when you speak about this American government, especially if you're a person, a citizen that lives in this government, don't you think it's time to get about this country? If you find that this government is so messed up, don't you think it's time to get about this country? They have owned this country before you was born. Some of these laws you're going to change, but some of them you're not, because it protects the owners. It's the way of the land. You feel me? If you understand taxes, you will understand, yeah, somebody got their hand in the pot, taking money, but that money also get distributed back to the communities. You feel me? That's how we get these roads fixed. That's how these street lights and stuff stay working. That's how, you know what I mean, there's money, there's loans, there's business loans, there's grants, there's college tuitions that you put your kids in and they don't have to pay no dues for college. You feel me? You get me? So it's a yin and a yang to our American government, but let's go and get back to the love and respect experience. And do not neglect to relinquish the offense. Give your pain and frustration to God. Refuse to hang on to the remnants of an unforgiving spirit. Yes, I know the hurt may still linger, but trust God to help you. Let it all go. When Jesus suffered, he kept entrusting himself to him who judges righteously. And you can do the same in the midst of lesser difficulties. When you sympathize with your spouse, you will tend to speak with understanding and compassion instead of anger and judgment as you entrust your wounds to the Lord. You will lower your expectations for total healing from your spouse, and that will create a calmness and wisdom in your approach. Will you kiss and make up? Perhaps. But most important, Jesus has been your example. You have followed in his steps. Speak to you something about the kiss and make up part. Yeah, this is the end of chapter 27. Let me tell you something about the kiss and make up part. I've met women. I've dealt with women. Love to argue. Because see, they like to make up sex. They like to, to argue and then want you to, take all that anger, that frustration, that bad energy, and break them down. You understand me? How many of you women out there gonna testify to this? How many of you women gonna sit there and realize the nasty pastor about right. It's messed up because he's a man and talking about it. I would rather hear it from a woman than a man. But understand this, I'm only making you women better. If you love your men babies, I'm only helping them. You feel me? What I don't do is lie to my babies. I've never lied to my babies. Nay one of them. Not the oldest, not the middle, and not the baby boy. I've never lied to now one of them. You feel me? I explain to them life so they will understand it and be able to look at it and see it for what it is. I may not be right on all things. You feel me? You understand? But I'm going to give them a tip of the iceberg so they can see what a duck look like. So they can see what a duck quack like. So they can see what a duck walk like. And of those three characteristics, if something don't add up, what that mean? What it mean? This one a little different. This one may look like a duck, may walk like a duck, but don't talk like a duck. This one may look like a duck, talk like a duck, but don't walk like a duck. You feel me? This one may walk like a duck, talk like a duck, but don't look like a duck. So let me go and stay interested. But if you got all three, you got all three characteristics that you can put a stamp on, what you think you should do? What you think you should do? I leave that up to you. Because what I'm going to do is go and get away. Because I know what a duck is. So I'm going to go and, pull myself away. You got me? Anywho, I am the nasty pastor. Remember to like, share, comment, pass the word. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, Only Faith Ministries. Keep running it up for me. You know what I mean? I love the fact that my shorts, my reels, they catch numbers. I love it. But what I really need you to do is listen to the whole message. Listen to the whole chapter instead of 30 minutes to 30 seconds to 60 seconds of a reel or a short. Get the full meal. It'll help your marriage. It'll help your relationship. It'll build some strength. It'll build some character. It might even help the relationship with your family. You feel me? You can apply some of this to your family. I've applied some of this to my mom. You know what I mean? There's things in this book that I just don't apply to the woman I'm being intimate with. I apply it to the woman that born and raised me. Have some understanding about her. Do you feel me? Anywho, once again, I am the nasty pastor. This has been the Love and Respect Experience. The author of the book, Dr. Emerson Eggerichs. I recommend this book. It's July. It's going to be hot. It's going to be a heated summer. But let's prepare for a cold winter. You feel me? I love you if don't nobody else love you, and I'm out.